R.K. Ranjan is in favor of cookie. And who create this? And that's why they vandalized my home. They burned down my home. What is the reason? They looted my home. What is the reason? First, you have asked about denied of ticket. There is no question of denying ticket. And to be very frank, this year I didn't apply for the awarding of ticket to the authority. However, I belongs to the Modi Parivar. Modi ka Parivar is a very quite popular momentum of the country, and also BJP is a family. Whatever the family heads or family authority decide, as by tradition, we have to accept it. But to be very frank, there is no question of denying ticket to me.
So, uh, but do you feel sometimes betrayed by not getting?
No, I don't feel. And this is the MP for representing the peoples of Manipur is not my dynasty property. It is the process. One day or other day, I may be the rest from the political things, but so far, as a representatives of the people of Manipur, I always maintain the interests of the people of Manipur, and also I always very precautious about the image of Manipur when I represent to the national level and then to the international level. So far, whatever I have performed during this, in the first 2 years of tenure as an MP, I was one of the best parliamentarian as assessed by some of the group. But very recently, some whimsical and the pet journalists always say that he performed the worst. And that kind of assessment, if it is in the lifetime of my parliamentary term, they will be hooked under this the prestige of the what you call the the privilege motion in the Lok Sabha. But of course, these days the parliament has already closed, and of course there is many legal assessment is there. They say that in the northeastern MPs, the two MPs are the worst in Manipur. That means I'm not performing. Perhaps they do not know what are the rules and procedures of the parliament. And many of the people here, even the academicians of the state of Manipur, perhaps they might not have seen even the real picture of parliament. They do not know, but they talk too much. See, in the past 2 years, more than 25 questions I put it. Perhaps if someone is doing research, please check up in the history of the parliament represented by the people of Manipur long back before me, how many participations they have done it. After all, during my MP's tenureship in 2 years, I put up all the issues of the state of Manipur, of the boundaries. Is there any MPs or is there any candidate right now? And also, the idea of Manipur was created 20 years ago by us. And my idea of the idea of Manipur is that we are claiming that Manipur is having 2000 year, more than 2000 years of civilization. Is this civilization is contributed only by the single mighty communities? It is a shared history. It is a shared contribution. Even the language, even the language, all the Manipuri language, if somebody says that in the poetry, as this is a flowery Manipuri language, these are all mixed and adding of the different 34 ethnic communities who settle along with us quite a sometimes. So we should know the idea of Manipur means. Manipur is a composition of ethnic community and also the Meiteis. Of course, Meitei lead the role, but the idea of Manipur, if anybody, any agent who disturb and disrespect and dishonor of the idea of Manipur, they are really against the society of the Manipur. To be very frank, till now, the issue of Manipur violence is not placed in the parliament as a topic of discussion. And this was only when the opposition party, the register for no confidence motion against the prime minister. So on the debate of processing of the no confidence motion to the prime minister, they took the example of Manipur. So basically, there is no question is arise in the floor of the parliament as such Manipur violence to be discussed. But that was the means used by the, particularly by the Congress party and Mr. Gaurav Gogoi from Assam, when he the proposed for the no confidence motion to the prime minister against the prime minister. So there is a procedure. MP can talk it, but the others like me, before I joining the council of minister, I also can stand up and shout it, reply it. But being a council of minister, my responsibility is not to speaking. As and when the MPs are asking question relevant to my portfolio, then I have to answer it. This is the only things. But peoples are misinformed and also disinformed. And this is, that's why they create, they politically, they tarnish my image. He do not know the language. Even the academician, they said, why didn't they talk, listen, whatever the parliament before I joining the council of minister, that was telecast. And they, I do not know how they talk it. And also this is the procedure.
Prime Minister hasn't spoken enough about the violence and why the Prime Minister should still not visit the state.
See, these are all related the community crisis in between the two communities in a state, and this affairs is the should be dealt by the home minister, and home minister is dealing, and that's why prime minister is not have no have the prime minister doesn't have the what you call possibility of visiting and talking on this issue. This is the purely the role of the council of role of the union home minister, and that's why he was here for 3 days, and also more than 20 days by the union state home minister.
But the Prime Minister, as a Prime Minister of the country, he actually came to Assam twice. And
Did the people of Manipur or did the authority of the Manipur create the atmosphere to visit the prime minister? If there is any approach from the authority of the state, certainly he will visit it.
but
Even this election, prime minister was in the first in the start campaigning. Did our state approach it?
that means the leaderships, parties do not actually approach the Prime Minister to visit.
I think so. I don't have any idea about it. Did they approach it or is there any rejection? That I do not know. I appeal to the people, both communities. And also, I was the first man from Manipur to write letter to the Prime Minister and also to the Home Minister describing about the situation. And I request them to send extra paramilitary forces to assist the state forces. They sent it day and night. They sent it by the army aircraft. They sent it. And also, I request them the ex gratia for the life lost people. State has granted only 5 lakhs. It is not enough. They have sanctioned another 5 lakhs. 10 lakh is given. And for the package, for the property loss and damages, that was also given. Nothing is left out. Whatever I request, I was the first man to inform all this situation and requesting the requirement. Even I proposed to constitute a peace committee. That was also given. But I do not know how it is really implemented here. That is another question. But whatever I approach on behalf of the people of Manipur to the Prime Minister and to the Home Minister, they respond it. They respond it.
So,
One Hawkip, he said that he's an associate professor or professor, something like that. He said that, sir, your Biren has clarified, declared the reserve forest within a night without the consent of the Hill Area Committee. He said. Then I said that you are misinformed. I will tell you, I will share the information. Manipur was under British after 1891 war. And during that, when the British ruled the state, they have their the forest law is there. 1853, the Forest Act is there by the British, and under that, the reserve forest has already clarified. And then during the Darbar again approved it, and then when we merged to the Indian Union, the re-gazette notification was issued during 1960s and end part of the 60s. And all these are there. And your Hill Area Committee was born after Article 371C was implemented. That was in 1972. Prior to that, the reserve forest has already reserve forest, protected forest, open forest, and these are all classified. So they remain silent. So when I talk to them, I just at the beginning I mentioned about the shared history, shared culture. I already mentioned, and even I mentioned that the cookies are not the original settler. They were sent by the British through during the Narsingh Maharaj the time that was in 1832 to 41, and there are many records during the what's that Suisa's time. He wrote to the Prime Minister, Parliament. He approached when he represented the outer. He said that cookies are refugee and they have to get grant the refugee relief. Now these are all documents. So you don't talk on that issues. My intention to call here is that if there be any doubt and in relation with the present crisis, what are the main causes that has to be addressed. And this is the state of Manipur created by sharing by all of us. So they remain silent. And however, that information, that kind of approach was misinformed to our local area that R.K. Ranjan is in favor of cookie. And who create this? And that's why they vandalized my home. They burned down my home. What is the reason? They looted my home. What is the reason? So if they are really understand the issues of the present crisis, that has to be created only by the neutral, non-biased group, religious group should get together and people to people contact should be met it and it should bring it the normalcy. Of course, illegal immigration, there are series of rules and regulation, Foreigner Act or Immigration Act, many things are there. Through that we can approach it and legally we can turn them out. So these are the many means. I already mentioned that I am a member of the Modi ka paribar. And we are not a dynasty, it's a paribar. The whole country's citizens are in the same members of the family. And you know, BJP is the world biggest party. And also, the cadres of BJP are the family members. Once the heads of the family member decide on the real workers of the BJP, there is no the adverse impact on that.
So is there any some sort of miscommunication or trust deficit between the state leadership and you?
Huh? State?
State leaders and BJP leaders?
That I do not know. From my side, there is no mistrust, but other side, I do not know. I
No,
have a full confidence.
so you have been there, I mean, here in Nepal for last 2 3 days.
Hmm.
So have you ever talked to any BJP leaders or Russian government?
You know, they already published the start campaigner list. My name is also there. If there be any meeting organized, they will inform me and I will participate in it. There is no question of meeting and others. Person from the academic background after retirement, early part is a non-political person, entered it and first time elected, and at the first time of election, again included in the Council of Minister. And that too portfolio, you know, the external affairs is the country's topmost. Whatever relationship throughout the globe is created through this mantraloy. And another thing is the education. Is the education is the only means to create and empowering the citizens. So uh, through these two mantraloys, I was so cordial, and they were so helpful. And of course, the comparison, I don't have any comparison here, but in the external affairs, is 75% is protocol, and others are the as well rules, and all the staffs, right from the peon, gardeners, up to the topmost of the MEA, they are all procedural papers, and I feel very proud of it to be in that mantralaya also. And it's a very the cautious type of things. And also they assigned to me in Southeast Asia and Indo-Pacific, excluding China and Japan. Others are under my process. And how Modi keep me in this northeastern side, this is also a very interesting thing.